Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the ultimate Malign being Super Baby 2 Giant Ape and how good he is in DBZ Dokkan Battle after his recent Extreme Z Awakening, and we're going to take a look at just how good he is with one dupe in the Hidden Potential system. Now, Ultimate Malign Baby is an Artificial Life Forms lead of 150% now. I think it's okay. Artificial Life Forms doesn't have a lot of leads in the first place. He greatly raises defense for 1 turn on his 12 key whilst lowering attack, and greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn on his 18 key whilst causing mega colossal damage to the enemy and lowering attack and defense. He has key plus 6, attack and defense of 150%, an additional key plus 3, attack and defense of 100%, and chance of performing a critical hit plus 40% when there is a Pure Sands or Hybrid Sands category enemy. So what this means is it's pretty cool. Basically, he has plus 40% to his crit chance when he's facing a Pure Sands or Hybrid Sands. This is pretty cool because it means you can kind of build him into full additional if you're looking that way, but it is additive to his later passive. So he gets an additional attack and defense of 100% and chance of performing a critical hit plus 40% if HP is 40% or more when performing a super attack. He also will get a 150% defense with a high chance of evasion if HP is 40% or less when performing a super attack, which is pretty interesting. So what that means basically for Baby is if he's above 40% and he's facing a Pure Sands or Hybrid Sands, he has an 80% crit chance, which is pretty ridiculous, to be honest. It's pretty nuts if you think about it. His defense also after super is very strong. Sitting at like 525%, just in a very good position. 600% if he's facing a Pure Sands, and if he's below 40%, it's 775%, which is pretty cool. Now, his Giant form can activate when he hits 40% or less health, and the reason his passive is constructed the way it is means that after his Giant form, he'll be more defensively minded because you're still lower in health. The only real shame is his evasion will only kick in upon super, which means AoE attacks, and that still have a pretty good chance to hit him. Now, that's not the end of the world though, because Baby's starter turn defense with Big Bad Bosses activated is pretty good. Without Big Bad Bosses activated, you can see here, he sits in a pretty good position in the mid 200s, which is a very good starting point. Remember, he's going to raise his attack and defense when he fires off a super attack by either 100% or by 150%. So his defense is going to be well over the 400k mark. Then he's going to greatly raise it on his 18 or his 12 key. So he has very, very good raw defense. The big thing with Baby is obviously that starter turn defense. That's only really solvable by link leveling him. So giving him Big Bad Bosses is a very big boost. Can push him well into the 300s with a single dupe like mine. And of course also giving him some defensive equips. And yeah, obviously if you have dupes in him, that does help the defensive stat a lot. Baby's highest starter turn defense, I think, for a Rainbow unit is probably in the high 300s. Maybe, depending on the amounts of support in that, you can look at getting like 400k. But it's still, that's really, really good, all things considered. Baby's after super defense is really where things are really impressive. His after super defense is absolutely ginormous. And his attack stats are pretty good. I mean, we're seeing him against Pure Sands or Hybrid Sands enemies, throwing out 12 million attack stats. That's pretty good stuff, especially when you consider that realistically the only condition is being above 40% health, which is not that difficult to do. Being above 40% health is not tremendously difficult. Against Pure Sands or Hybrid Sands, those attack stats are starting to go up, and we're looking at 15, 16 million. With Big Bad Bosses, a little bit higher than that. This is very good stuff. Just in general, incredibly good stuff. I think Baby is honestly a really good easy A. He has no real restrictions, which I think is very good as well. Like the health restriction obviously is something important, which I think is like, it's not too bad. Like 40%, it's very similar to Golden Freezer. I think for me is really, really, really solid. The big thing is obviously, unfortunately, the Pure Sands Hybrid Sands restriction, which affects him not tremendously, but it does affect him. It does obviously give him a little bit of an incentive to fight against him, but he's not terrible. I mean, you can see here in the situation where he's facing Android 21, or when he was facing Android 21, he was handling himself more than fine. So there's no massive kind of prevention mechanism to him being good in other situations. It's just that he's clearly very good against pure sands and hybrid sands, which is also fine. You can see here in his giant form. So the thing in his giant form, just to kind of let everyone understand, his giant form unfortunately does not have big time benefits. So his giant form does not benefit from his crit mechanics or anything like that. So for example, if he's facing pure sands or hybrid sands, it doesn't matter in giant form. None of that stuff kicks in. So basically you're relying entirely on the giant form. The giant form is okay. The damage is pretty good for a giant form. 3 million attack sets is pretty solid. That was a hidden potential system crit, not a not a baby crit. But yeah, pretty good. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does apply, because there's no ways we're getting that lucky. No, I think it does apply. I think his crit does apply. I think it does apply. Oh no, he's got a high chance of performing a crit in this giant form. See, yeah, I forgot that temporarily. So yeah, very good. Obviously, that's a 50% crit chance, which is pretty nice. It does change those giant form attack stats, which are relatively low, like 2-3 million, into being really solid. Into being like decent-ish damage abilities. He's on a lot of categories as well: giant form, transformation boost, artificial life forms, terrifying conquerors, target Goku, revenge, and human deeds. So he's actually a pretty good extreme unit. His link set's also not bad as well. His link set's actually pretty good. Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses being your big kind of hard-hitting links. 25% attack and defense, 10% attack and defense, 15% attack and defense. But he's also got GT for key and attack and defense as well. Hatred of the Saiyans, which is good for key, and Sharing the Limit, which is good for key. It's a bit of a shame that he doesn't have something like shocking speed, but that's okay. Overall, he's got a decent link set. He provides himself keys, so it's not so imperative. It's just that the other unit that's paired with him might suffer. So using a great unit like Janemba, physical LR Janemba, who doesn't need how can I say like a lot of key, is a pretty good pick. I think overall for me, Baby's a good unit. I think he's an example of a good easy A. I think him and the physical androids are examples of great easy A's that don't necessarily destroy how the unit worked before, but just bring it up to the current speed. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it from me. See you guys in the next one. Bye.